Oh my
What
goodness.
a week indeed. Would
Well,
you?
let me just show you where we are though. Here's where we are. Quilting all done.
Yay! Okay, show me the
Except for
side.
except for my errant whoops, that's not the one. Except for my errant butterfly, I'm still not able to transfer over the files that you sent me, Sarah. That's I, I've I have to say, I have Sarah emailed me, I think, what, 3 times yesterday? I mean, talk about customer service. Oh my gosh. It's like, she had nothing better to do than to help me with my problems. But Sarah said something about, well, your hoop, something about my hoop size. And that got me thinking about I always use my big magnetic hoop, but my actual hoop that came with my machine is not large enough for those files that I was trying to transfer. And I don't know why this didn't occur to me earlier, but it didn't. So even though I can use my magnetic hoop, it's nice and big, my machine will not show me files that it thinks is too big for my machine. Do you follow me?
I follow you. So my first question. So to put everything in context, you've been working on block 6 of Sunshine Cove. You've been
Right,
given a daily update on your progress after asking for help in that
right.
Facebook group and being given so much love and encouragement. So
Yep,
yay for that. And this week you've been doing the quilting because your original goal was to complete the whole block by the end of April, which would have been Tuesday.
right.
So
So,
I my first question is, who the heck sold you that magnetic hoop? Or did you
uh,
buy?
yeah, I think I bought it from Dime online, and
Okay,
I've used it for all the quilting. I mean, I really love the hoop. It's great
so
for quilting because you can shift it around a little bit.
so you have a Janome 500, right?
Correct.
And the biggest hoop that you have is 7.9 inches by 11.2 inches or whatever.
Uh, 11, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but the hoop that is it a Janome hoop that you purchased?
It's a
The Janome
Genome
version?
compatible. It's a
Okay.
Genome compatible. Yeah.
I'm kind of
But it's
confused about the size of it because 9 by 14, I was not actually aware of a Janome machine that had that big of a hoop until the M17 Continental came along.
yeah,
But I'm kind of
it's this
surprised
big.
that it actually will work on your machine anyway.
It does, yeah.
That is so bizarre.
Right? Yeah.
So,
I did all the
yeah,
quilting today with this
that is so bizarre.
because
So,
I originally thought I was going to have to use a smaller hoop, and that meant I was going to have to stuff into a hoop, which I didn't really want to do. Um, so that's when the major confusion set in around that.
so the
But it
moral of
started
this
when you sent
story,
me those files from Dropbox.
I'm sorry,
It
what
also
was that?
this whole saga started when remember I had the missing Jeff file that you sent me,
Yes.
and that one would have been too big anyway. So that's why that one didn't work. But that doesn't explain why my machine won't read the custom corner file that you sent me.
Well, we're gonna
Because
figure
that
that out.
shouldn't, yeah, I did the
Yeah,
other
we're gonna figure
corners.
that out.
Okay.
But okay, so here the major learning experience from this is and this is not just for you, Janet, this is for everybody. You really need to know how big your hoops are. And in your particular case, what the maximum stitching area of your machine is. I'm kind of blown away that your machine will actually accept this hoop, which is so much bigger, but it doesn't actually have it's a lot bigger than your machine can stitch. So we provide all of our instructions. Now we use millimeters. All of the machines generally have their hoops specified in millimeters. Millimeters are a lot tinier than inches, therefore they end up to be a lot more accurate. In the beginning, we had a lot of trouble, like in the beginning, as in over a decade ago, thinking, you know, everybody will talk about having an 8-inch square hoop or an 8-inch by 12-inch hoop. And so I was digitizing for a full 8 inches, where it turns out that an 8 by 12 hoop is actually 200 millimeters by 300 millimeters. 200 millimeters is actually it's about 7.8 inches. 300 millimeters is 11.8, something around there. So it's not quite that big, not quite the full 8 inches by 12 inches. But knowing what your hoop size is, when you look at the instructions, it will always tell you, starting from the biggest hoop size that we provide, going down to the smaller hoop size. So, for instance, we endeavor to work with the 240 by 360 hoop, which is, it's actually not the biggest one that you will find on the new Brethren, Babylock, Luminaire, and Solaris, because they have a much bigger hoop than that. But for the most part, the 240 by 360 is a standard size hoop that comes on a lot of the machines. The Boninas, for whatever reason, have their own kind of sizes, and the Bonina equivalent is the jumbo hoop, which is actually 256 by 400. Now, the Bonina hoops have the curves at the top and the bottom, so we accommodate for that. Whenever we say 240 by 360, you can guarantee that will fit in a Bonina jumbo hoop. Another of the common ones is the 200 by 300 millimeter. That is a fairly standard across the board size. The Bonina equivalent for that is going to be your maxi hoop, which is technically 210 by 400. So again, if I say it's going to fit in a 200 by 300 millimeter hoop, it will actually fit into the maxi hoop, taking into account the curves. If I was to put a 200 by 300 millimeter square, or rectangle rather, into a Bonina maxi hoop, you would be chopping off a lot on the corners on the top and the bottom, despite the fact that the hoop size says it's 210 by 400. So what I endeavor to do is, based on those general hoop sizes, we also do the 150 by 260, which is Bonina mega hoop equivalent, but it's fairly standard hoop size across the brands. What we endeavor to do is provide the designs, or be able to put the designs into one of these, let's say maybe 3 categories of hoop sizes, but we'll also tell you what the smallest hoop is that you might be able to stitch it in, right? So you need to always look at the instructions and say, you know, if it says if your hoop is at least this big, then you know, yes, it will, or no, it won't. And then otherwise, if your hoop's at least this big, whatever that size is. So you need to kind of go down the list until you found the set of designs that will fit into your biggest hoop, right? Now, it might be the case that not all of the designs are actually going to need that biggest hoop. Some of them you might be able to use a smaller hoop, but you can't pick design 1 from group A and design 2 from group B. You have to use all of the designs in the same group. So Beth is saying she has a Bernina 790 and can use the magnetic hoop that's made for an 880 jumbo, but the machine limits the embroidery field. Yeah, that's correct, Beth. So on the Bernina 7 series machines, you can use the jumbo hoop, but you don't get to stitch in the 2 inches on the right-hand side of the hoop.
Right.
Or it's the left hand, no, it's the 2 inches on the left-hand side of the hoop. Interestingly enough, a jumbo hoop, a Bernina jumbo hoop on a 7 series machine actually has a bigger stitching area than in some respects, in the Bernina jumbo hoop on the 8 series machines, if you're looking at as tall as you can go and as wide as you can go, because that 2 inches on the left hand side, you eliminate the curve on the left hand side of the hoop. So interesting kind of things going on there. Let's have a look at what's going on with this the errant butterfly quilting design. If anybody else has an errant butterfly from Sunshine Cove month 6, he's flying in the wrong direction.
Yes.
We now have quilting to fit around him. So let me see. I am going to bring that quilting up on my computer, and then I'll share the screen, and we'll check it size-wise. Now I have to remember where I put it.
Is there any reason why it would be larger than the standard corner file?
It should be exactly the same, but we're going to check that.
I would think so. Okay. I'm going to
Let's
get
see.
my file.
Okay, so I have the corner that I created especially for Jan, which is, there's absolutely no reason why it wouldn't fit into your hoop. That's the bizarrest thing. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen, Jan? It's looking a lot like we might have lost Jan there at some point. Give me a thumbs up if you can actually see my screen. Okay, thank you. So the design with the butterfly flying, can you see, instead of the head of the butterfly being up here, we've got the head of the butterfly over here to match what Jan has actually stitched up. So this design is measuring 7.229 by 7.483, and in millimeters, where did my units go? There we go. In millimeters, we are at 183.62 by 190. So if we open the regular month 6, we are going to Sunshine Cove month 6 source, and we want the 24-inch corner. So that's actually 180, basically 184 by 184.
Okay.
This one is 184 by 190. I gave you a little bit of an extra leg here for your alignment. This actually aligns with the top of the gate on the block below, or the top of the fence on the block below. So I see absolutely no reason why this would. I'm sorry?
That little bit shouldn't make a difference, should it?
It should not make a difference. You're mainly looking at the width here. And what did we determine? 7.9 times 25.4 gives you 200.66 millimeters. So you should be good up to 200 millimeters across. So what is the what what happens when you try and load the design?
My mind mean
We have
it
lost you
it
just a little bit, Jan. Your connection is
I
there.
mean
You are.
now
We don't have any sound. You know what? I'm going to turn off your video in the hope that we can actually hear you, Jan. Are you there?
so exactly, can you hear
That's
me
better.
now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here. Okay. So exactly what I did was I transferred your file from your Dropbox that you sent me. I I originally transferred it into my Dropbox and then onto the flash drive. I thought, well, maybe that's the problem, so I transferred it directly onto I downloaded it from your Dropbox and then went directly to the flash drive. It showed up perfectly on the flash drive, but when I put the flash drive into my machine, it simply didn't list it. It's acting like it's too large, but that can't be.
That's really weird.
Yeah. Is there something
So when you
inherent in
download the
Dropbox?
design, I'm sorry.
Is there something inherent in Dropbox that could be messing with it?
You don't believe so. You know what we're going to do? I am going to export it again. We're going to export the design and right. We're going to save it as a new version. The only thing would be if um the only thing would be if for some reason downloading it from the Dropbox was converting it into a zip file. So I'm actually going to email it to you right now.
Okay.
And
It actually said uncompressed when I checked. So,
well, I tell you what, I'm going to email it to you right now. And
okay.
whilst I'm answering some of the other questions, if you could go
Okay.
try it in your machine and
Sure.
then come back to me and let me know if it's actually worked. So I'm going to email it to you
Sounds
as an
good.
attachment rather than um let's see, where are we? Rather than Dropbox, just to see if that
Okay.
helps.
And I'll try it out. Okay, I got it.
We haven't got it because I haven't sent it yet. Okay.
Oh, that's the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, here's the email. So that should be landing in your inbox any second. So see if that copy that onto your USB drive. See if that will actually
There
open
it
up in your
is.
machine. You got it?
Okay, I got it. I will try this out. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. You're
I'll report
welcome.
back.
Okay.